Good evening, fellow travelers, friends. First off, I want you to think about the most powerful story you've ever been told. Not a fairy tale necessarily, but a story that fundamentally changed the architecture of your world. Maybe it was a story a teacher told that made a labyrinth of a subject suddenly feel like a straight road. Maybe it was a story of a charismatic leader told that convinced a nation to hope in the dark. Or maybe, and this is the most potent of all, maybe it was a story you told yourself. A story that said, you are not good enough. Or one that whispered against all evidence, yes, you are. We live and breathe in an ocean of stories. They are the invisible currency of our world. We buy them, we sell them, we build temples of our identities upon them. The story of who you are, the story of what is possible. And it is the most powerful force shaping our life. Well, at least one of them. And in the profound language of human design, a framework for understanding the soul's energetic signature, there is a specific current dedicated to this very power. It is an energy that lives in every single one of us, a voice on our inner council, an energy so potent that it is often misunderstood, sometimes feared, and in our modern world, frequently dishonored. In human design, it's called Gate 26, simply. I like to call that energy also the Sacred Salesman, or the Divine Influencer, or the Storyteller of the Heart. Now, before we begin our let's journey deeper. Let's get on the same page. Human design isn't a rigid box to contain you. It's a language, a poetic, nuanced language that describes the energies you consistently broadcast into the world. That's your nature. And the energies you absorb from others, where you are most shaped by life and by the things that you do, well, that's your nurture. And here is the secret. We all have access to all energies. Definition in your human design simply means you have a consistent, reliable signal in that department. Well, for the rest of us, we are all here in life's great school to get wise about that thing, to develop that consistent, reliable signal. Gate 26 lives in what human design calls the heart center, the seat of our willpower, our ego, our courage. Its sacred job is to take the wisdom of the past and sell a compelling vision of the future to the tribe, to your family, to your company, your relationship, your community. It's a born marketer, a divine promoter. But as with any great power, it carries an equally great responsibility, because the energy of influence, my friends, is a knife's edge. It can carve a masterpiece of connection, or it can inflict the wound of deceit. The quality of this energy, the way we express it, operates on a sliding scale. At its lowest frequency, in its shadow, Gate 26 is the energy of pride. This isn't the healthy satisfaction of a job well done. This is the ego's desperate, hungry craving for validation. It's the voice that hisses. It must look good. It must win at all costs. It is the hustler, the con artist, the trickster who has forgotten that his tricks were meant to reveal truth, not obscure it. We see the shadow everywhere, don't we? It's the marketer who sells a fantasy by preying on insecurity. It's the politician who rewrites history to consolidate power. It's the social media influencers whose life is a gallery of perfect moments, mistaking a cavern of loneliness. Or masking it, the cavern of loneliness. And if you're sitting here today and that voice sounds painfully familiar, if you know what it's like to embellish a story to gain approval, or to hide a mistake out of fear, please hear me. You are not a bad person. You are a person in pain using a power tool to protect a tender wound. The shadow of pride is almost never born of malice. It is born of the deep, terrified belief that unadorned truth of who you are is simply not enough to be loved, to be safe, to belong. As the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche Friedrich Nietzsche warned, "The most common form of lie is the one a person tells to himself. Lying to others is relatively rare. The lie of I am not enough is the source code for every other deception." This is the energy that can sell ice to the Eskimo. But what is the true cost of that sale? A sliver of trust, a shard of soul? The shadow of pride builds its house on the sand of exaggeration and half-truths. And while it may look like a palace for a time, it is destined to crumble. There's a haunting poem by Percy Bysshe Shelley called Ozymandias. It speaks of a traveler who finds the ruins of a great statue in the desert. On the pedestal, these words appear: "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of the colossal wreck. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." That is the fate of the influence built on pride. It becomes a colossal wreck in a desert of time. The applause fades, the money is spent, and all that is left is the empty echo of a story that wasn't true. The soul knows, the universe knows, and that dissonance creates a deep spiritual sickness, a world transactional relationships, cynicism, and profound distrust. But we are not doomed to this shadow, not the shadow of gate 20 or of 26. By turning our awareness inward with courage and compassion, by choosing a higher path, we can transmute this same energy. We can slide the quality of our expression from the shadow of pride to its magnificent gift. The gift of gate 26 is interestingly called artfulness. Artfulness is not about lying better. It's about telling a better story, a truer, more beautiful story. It is the sublime skill of the master craftsman who knows how to take the raw materials of truth and shape them into something that inspires, delights, and empowers. The artful influencer doesn't need to exaggerate because they have learned to see the inherent magic in what is real. They don't manipulate, they motivate. They don't sell you a product, they sell you a piece of your own forgotten potential. They connect from their heart with genuine care for your well-being, understanding that a good deal is only a good deal if it's a good deal for everyone. Think of it this way. A manipulative salesman wants to sell you a car. He'll hide the rust, roll back the odometer, and tell you that it's the best deal you'll ever get. An artful guide also wants you to have a car, but first she asks you, where are you trying to go? What is your journey that your soul is calling you to? And when she helps you find the perfect vehicle for your unique journey, celebrating with you as you drive off towards your own horizon, the first feels like a transaction, the second feels like a blessing. And for those of you who live and breathe this artfulness, you know the electric joy I'm talking about. You know that feeling of seeing someone's eyes light up because they finally believe in themselves and you had a small part to play telling them a story of their own strength. As Maya Angelou said, quote, "People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel." The gift of artfulness is the ability to make people feel seen, valued, and capable. I have a poem that tries to capture this journey from the lonely hustler to the heart-centered guide. In a bustling bazaar of the soul, a salesman stands with wares to extol. His tongue is honey, with his wit a blade, each word a promise craftily made. But when dusk descended and the crowds all depart, he feels a strange hollowness deep in his heart. He drops the mask, his shoulders release, and he prays for integrity. He begs for some peace. The next morn he returns with a new gentle air, no longer just selling, but choosing to share. He holds up a mirror not trinkets of brass, and shows every soul their own courage and class. He sells them no cures, no shortcuts, no lies, just the fierce glowing truth he can see in their eyes. And now what he offers feels sacred and true, because he's not selling a thing, he's selling you back to you. This transformation from pride of artfulness is the journey of a lifetime. It is the journey of aligning our personal will with a higher will, of understanding that our influence is a sacred trust. To truly grasp this, we must see how this energy is designed to work. Gate 26, this sacred salesman, doesn't operate in a vacuum. It lives in the heart center, the engine of our will, reminding us that promises must be kept, and that our will is not infinite. It needs cycles of rest and recuperation. Pushing, forcing, and grinding are the language of prideful fear. True artfulness has a graceful rhythm, like a dance. And most importantly, Gate 26 has a designated partner. It forms a channel, a direct line of communication with Gate 44 in the awareness intuitive center. Think of 44 as the soul's ancient librarian. It holds the instinctual memory of the tribe. It has read every story, felt every pattern. It has a cellular knowing of what failed before and what might succeed now. It is the deep, quiet wisdom within you that whispers, "Be careful. That feels like the last time we got hurt. But this has a scent of a miracle." Gate 26, the storyteller of the heart, receives this dispatch from the soul's librarian and says with a confident smile, "Thank you. I know how to tell that story. I know how to frame that warning as a wisdom. I know how to present that miracle in a way the tribe can believe." When these two energies dance together, you get genius. Gate 44 provides the what, the raw instinctual truth, and Gate 26 provides the how, the artful, inspired transmission. One provides the root, the other provides the flower. Without the partner, Gate 26 can be a flower with no root, selling visions with no grounding. Without Gate 26, Gate 44 can be a root with no flower, holding deep wisdom that never sees the light of day. They need each other. We need all the voices of our inner council. This journey from pride to artfulness is a profound spiritual victory. But there is one more step. There is a highest expression, a frequency so pure it's almost paradoxical. Theologians might call it sanctification. Human design often uses the word siddhi, and the highest expression, the sanctification of this gate, like the purest form of Gate 26, the ultimate fulfillment of the Sacred Salesman, is invisibility. How can this be? How can the great influencer become invisible? It happens when the ego has become so purified, so surrendered, that it no longer stands in the way of the light. The messenger becomes so transparent that only the message remains. The artist steps back so completely that you only see the art. I see humble and small glimpses of this as a photographer. I want people to see the picture and not see me. So I get it to a small extent, but I think this is something bigger. The influence is profound, but the influencer, it seeks no credit. This is the state described by great spiritual masters. Even it's what, in my tradition, what Jesus meant when he said, "I seek not mine own glory, but the glory of him that sent me." He was the most influential person to ever live, yet he made himself of no reputation. His power came from his complete alignment with the divine, his utter lack of personal pride. It's what the Eastern sages call acting without attachment to the fruit of the action. You do the good deed, you speak the healing word, you plant the seed of a beautiful idea, and then you let it go, like a dandelion seed in the wind. You don't see the thank you. You don't see the applause. The joy is in the act of service itself. The reward is in a quiet knowing in your heart, a secret shared between you and God. C.S. Lewis put it perfectly when he said, "Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less." When we operate from the state of invisibility, we become true instruments of a higher power. We might find ourselves saying the exact thing a person needs to hear without knowing why. We might launch a project that benefits thousands and feel perfectly content to let others take the credit. This isn't about being a doormat. It's about being a conduit. The power that flows through you is infinitely greater than any power you could generate on your own. This is the ultimate secret of the Sacred Salesman. The greatest sales pitch is no sales pitch at all. It is a life lived with such integrity, such love, such humility, that your very presence persuades others of the goodness of God, or the beauty of truth, and the possibility of a better world. Your life becomes a story. So, how do we get there? How do we, in our messy, beautiful human lives, cultivate this artful, invisible influence? Well, we start small. We start with gentleness. We can commit to what I would call an honesty audit. At the end of the day, instead of judging yourself, you can compassionately ask, "My heart, where did we feel we had to protect ourselves today? Where did the truth feel unsafe?" Let's just notice that. Let's bring love to that fear. It's not an interrogation, it's an act of coming home to yourself. We can practice secret service, do something kind for someone and tell no one, not a soul. Feel the quiet warmth that comes from an act of pure, unadulterated giving. That is the taste of invisibility. We learn to listen to the wisdom of our own bodies, our own inner authority, and to truly listen to others. Not to formulate our reply, but to hear their story beneath their words. For in that sacred space of listening, we find the key to their heart. And we can choose our archetypes. Will we be Ozymandias, the king of pride, whose legacy is wreckage? Or will we strive to be more like that perfect model of selfless influence, Jesus, who used his power only to heal, to lift, and to love, and to do his Father's will? He is the ultimate expression of this gate, the one who could tame the great power of the will with perfect integrity, the one whose story of sacrifice, of redemption, of unconditional love is the greatest story ever told, and the greatest story ever sold. Offered freely to all those who would listen. It's a story that doesn't just convince the mind, it transforms the heart. My friends, the world is starving for true stories. It is aching for leaders, for friends, for neighbors who operate from a place of artful integrity. It is tired of the noise of pride and longs for the music of truth. You have that music within you. That storyteller, that sacred salesman, that divine influencer lives in your soul. Your work is not to strive and strain, but to simply get out of your own fear. Get out of fear's own way so that the music can play clearly. Your work is to gently polish the lens of your heart so the light can shine through unimpeded. So I ask you, what story will you tell with your one precious life? What vision of the future will you sell to your tribe? Will it be a story of scarcity and division fueled by prideful fear? Or will it be a story of possibility, of connection, of abundance, told with gentle, unwavering artfulness of a loving heart? The choice is yours. The energy is yours to wield. Go forth and sell the world a story of its divine and waiting heart. And with that, a good night and thank you.